see what, when Shekhar said to me, do you think this woman is different? And I said, yeah, I think she's different. How is she different? I said, you know, there are millions of women who get raped, but everybody doesn't pick up a gun.
Yeah.
So I said, I would love to explore her dimensions as someone who's very androgynous. You know, someone who very easily, and she's not a good looking woman, someone who obviously shifts very easily from being a woman who's helpless to being a completely sort of ruthless character who would shame any man when it came to commanding, to extracting revenge, to whatever it is. Now, I had to do a photo shoot to present the photographs. I realized she has these 3 lines here, you know, which are almost there. So I would keep telling the photographer, you know, in every photo I need to keep these 3 lines, you know. So I told Vinesh, the photographer, we were doing the shoot. I said, you know, Vinesh, I've started getting this feeling that she's like a woman, like a child. You know how when children are about to cry, their face starts crumbling.
Yeah.
And then this comes, and then you decide, I'm not going to cry. So you go, but this remains. I said, you know, she's like a child who, I think, decided not to cry at some point of time.
Okay,
at
wow.
a young age.
Yeah.
And it was very interesting because after the film got over, that's exactly what Shekhar said after he had shot the film. You know, and I'm talking about it before we shot the film.
Does it pinch a little?
It doesn't pinch. At that time it did, of course. Because, you know, you're a young actress, you're on your this thing. And Khiladiyon Ka Khiladi was a role that Rekha did. Yeah. You know, and that was again a role. Why I enjoy those, why I think I would love to do those roles is because I would do them very differently, and I think I would create something with them, you know.
You would do it more underplayed.
I don't think you can accuse me of underplaying after seeing me in Kahani Ghar Ghar Ki. Okay, I can go completely over the top. I love doing things which will make the audience stand on their head and, you know, and provoke them.
How do you approach a role?
I do a lot of groundwork and then I let the role approach me. I approach it a little. It's like we're here and then we slowly start moving towards each other, you know. I learn from it, I give it something, and then at some point come together.
When I think Meeta Vishisht, or anybody does, we think of a strong woman with a mind of her own. Is that also your undoing in some ways?
Definitely. People don't like women they think of as
very strong.
Very strong. And actually some of them are very surprised when they work with me because I'm actually very, very malleable and I'm actually waiting for some brilliance to happen on the other side. I think the fact is that whatever performances I do stand out on their own. They are individuated, and because they have in the crowd the ability to stand out, they're seen as that. Actually that's what it is, you know.
Yeah.
मैं इंतजार करती रही करती रही our 10th wedding anniversary तो घर नहीं लौटा.
We don't have enough good critics, no, in this country. They don't know how to review your performances half the time.
That frustrates an actor?
I don't think I paid much heed, really.
How much does feedback matter to you?
I tend to take criticism more seriously than praise, and sometimes I have to consciously write down the praise I receive because I say, hey, you know, you must focus equally on that.
Yeah.
Because the praise you receive sometimes is so overwhelming and it's so fantastic and you tend to forget that. But one little criticism and you're saying, So now I've started writing down all the praise I received, you know.
At the end of the day today, I mean, what is it, you know, that gives you a sense of, let's say, bliss, achievement, happiness?
I have to be happy in the now. I mean, if you sit here and praise me and tell me how great I am in all the films I've done, I'll accept it, but it doesn't do anything to me at this moment. But it's true that for me, a sense of being creatively active, and I tell you, I'm happiest when I'm creatively active. The whole world makes sense to me then, you know, people make sense to me.
You anchored that travelogue, Vijay Jyoti. What was that experience like? Have you carried it?
It was horrible. The director was such an idiot, and I don't mind saying it on camera. He was completely uneducated. I had to protect the army from him, you know. Like, I'm an army man's daughter.
Yeah.
So for me, the army is very precious. I also know the ins and outs. I know how they function. I know the attitude. So this gentleman, Gajendra, was so clueless about how to treat the army. And in many ways, he would be so disrespectful. If he turned around to me and said, the army mess, अरे यार देखो कितने अच्छे परके वरके पहने इन लोगों ने, इनकी तो फौज की तो मौज है. मैंने कहा यार तू मरना, तू उधर 0 डिग्री टेम्परेचर में कहीं से गोली लगेगी, तू बैठ फिर अपना परका लेके. I said, you think all this is free food and free booze and free boots and free jackets they're getting to defend you, damn it, while you're sitting out here in your hotel room drinking your whiskey, you know.
You are writing a script of a film. You want to make a film. You
I've
are
finished writing a script. I'm working towards it. Let's not get into that.
Are you going to direct it?
Yeah, yeah.
Are you going to be also acting in it?
Oh, I'd love to. I'm trying to look for an actress to do justice to the role.
The actor in you is not satiated at all, right? It hasn't been tapped at all.
Completely unsatiated.
How do you plan to kind of, you know,
I have no idea.
unleash that?
Maybe I'll just do a lot more theatre if there are no great film roles.
Lal Ded, which
Yeah.
was recently staged in Chandigarh, you know, based on the mystic Kashmiri poetess
Yeah.
and Sufi, you know, of the 14th century. It's been running since 2004.
2004 December was the first show.
Yeah. What was it about Lal Ded which kind of pulled you towards her?
I think she's one of the few mystic poets whose dialogue with herself and with the creator is very one-to-one. So even when she's talking to God, it's like, you know, she'll say to Shiva, you have your 6 powers and I have my 6. And yet there is no difference between you and me. The only difference is that you are the lord of the 6 senses and I by the 6 am led astray.
Acha.
So there's a kind of individuality to her voice which is intellectually very stimulating. It's also very fine in the sense that you know that possibly that this is a woman who's writing, but there is no clue.
Okay.
There is no clue. You can't figure out why is it a woman who's saying this, you know. With Lal Ded, there's no reference to the body as a feminine thing. People know of Kabir, everybody knows of Kabir from India to Pakistan to wherever. But how many people, apart from the ones who actually sing him, really refer to him in a daily life way? With Lal Ded, it's strange. There are no traditions to her. There are no shrines to her. There are hardly any books to her. But for every single Kashmiri who is above 40, they know Lal Ded. They can recite a vak. They can recite it off the cuff just like that. And both Hindus and Muslims, mind you.
Was it a new kind of a journey for you within?
It was quite, because for 2-3 years when I was struggling with trying to understand her poetry, it did change my life a lot, because when I was dealing finally with Lal Ded, you know, every New Year Eve I would sit, you know, when people would party, I would sit and say, I haven't cracked the play. And then finally I realized that one New Year Eve that how can I ever think I am going to approach a phenomena like Lal Ded until I have made myself worthy of her.
What was it like a few, for example?
Like, I'll tell you a very personal example. I was on the verge of a divorce. I didn't want to sign the papers. There were a lot of issues. And all my feminist friends told me, you know, you cannot sign the papers. You'd be very stupid. You must get the settlement. Once he's free, he's gone, all that stuff. And one fine day I said, you know, this is such rubbish, you know. If for whatever reasons he owes me something, my ex-husband, who's by the way a very good friend of mine now, then if the universe wills it, it'll happen. But I'm not going to hold anybody to ransom. And suddenly I just took all this sort of emotions that were reactive and just threw them out of the window. And I signed, you know, and I said
Just
no.
in one thought, I mean you...
No, it percolated to me that these are the areas. These are areas where I'm clinging on to for fear. I'm clinging on to this for anger. I'm clinging on to this because there's a huge vacuum. I don't know where my life is headed at this point of time, and it's scary. I think to give up without clutching, without demanding a fees or demanding your right, is actually needs a lot of strength.
Yes.
A little bit of that was also because of my deep involvement with the poetry of Lal Ded, and I felt I'm not going to be able to crack this play until I have, you know, reached from level here to here to here to here, and then, you know, possibly, you know, she and I can start a dialogue with each other. I have performed it in Delhi twice, in Pune once, in Dehradun, in Lahore, yes, went to Lahore, and here.
Taken it to Kashmir.
Yeah, Kashmir, Srinagar, of course, how can I forget that?
How was it received?
It was received with, I think, a sense of disbelief, really.
Yeah?
That how is this possible? That we love this, but we never imagined we could. That Lal Ded can be brought onto the stage by a non-Kashmiri and we'll actually like it and accept it. I mean, I had a Kashmiri come and tell me, आपने कल लल देद किया था, बाहर आइए, आपसे बात करनी है.
अच्छा.
बचपन से मैं लल देद हमें स्कूल में भी सिखाते थे और मैं ललदित बोलता हूँ बचपन से, लेकिन पहली बार जिंदगी में मैं उसके इतना करीब आया हूँ.
अच्छा.
आफ्टर सीइंग द प्ले. तो मुझे लगता है मुझे आपको दाद दोनों चीज़ों की देनी चाहिए. आपका रिसर्च तो बड़ा अच्छा रहा है और उस पर एस्थेटिक्स एकदम सही थे. सो you know, the thing was, he was fumbling for words. He didn't know how to express it, you know, and that was the kind of response I would get. You know, it was actually a caress, but it was an inability of to, you know, with a child you can just caress. How do you caress this thing, you know? So it was like that. It's quite beautiful actually.
Okay, talking of feedback, I mean, you staged it here now in Chandigarh. Do you notice any shift in, you know, how the Chandigarh audience for theatre might have changed across the years since you were growing up here?
I have no idea, because when I did my very first full-length play, which decided that my life is meant to be that of an actress, was Kaanch Ghar for Abhineet. And it was a great experience, and I realized that this is my life. I just want to be on stage, you know. I was only 19 then. So it seems like that the audience is, because it was a full house and they stayed, and then there was a standing ovation, so it seems like the audience is fairly mature and fairly open to different kinds of theatre, which is interesting.
You began with Department of Indian Theatre, and then you went off to NSD. Today, I mean, now when you direct your own plays and hold workshops and teach theatre across FTI, Pune and NSD both, right?
Yeah.
What is your definition of potent theatre?
See, I think potency is actually inherent in the medium. It changes people who are watching it, and it definitely changes people who are involved in the process of creating theatre for a long time. Which is one of the reasons why I chose theatre as a medium for creating a complete change in the lives of remand home kids who are plucked from the brothels of Bombay.
Yes.
You know, theatre is one of the few things where everything is included. Dance, music, architecture, poetry, literature, science, technology, aesthetics, beauty, the esoteric, the obscene, the profane, the perfect, the imperfect. It's the one most effective way that I had of actually transforming what most people would refer to as a bunch of young prostitutes, you know, with a certain body language and a very aggressive way of being, people who can't be changed because once a prostitute, always a prostitute. You know, there are all these kind of attitudes we have. And I've seen that theatre being taken through a theatre process, I'm saying. I'm not talking about them becoming actors.
Yeah.
The entire process,
whole experience of
which
it.
is to do with your body, your mind, your expression, your creativity, all of that, completely transform their lives within 3 days starting, and then if those who continued with it for 9 months and up to longer, it changed them completely as people. It gave them a sense of confidence, a sense of courage, a sense of being able to articulate their position in life with the outside society.
A powerhouse performer yet to be unleashed, and life yet to be lived at a much wider angle. Neeta promises many more dimensions and many more stories yet between us.